The meeting to order. If you'll turn off that cell phone. And please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two orders of business. If you could please stand, continue standing. Sorry, I think it's slow. First of all, we'd like to have a moment of silence for a longstanding Unionville resident, Sean Lewis family. Recently they lost their son Joseph, and we need to just think a little bit about them and their family and how sad that is. And then we'll be back, and luckily to have a new pastor in town that we'll introduce in just a moment. Thank you. Sean Lewis has been a resident for how long?
Quite a while. I don't have the exact year, but he's been here for a long time. He's been an upstanding resident here in Unionville. He's with the fire department. He does whatever he can. He's law enforcement. So he's definitely for the people and
Sure.
trying to always help people out.
His wife is lovely, and we
Yeah.
do things together around town all the time.
Yeah,
It's a sad thing.
Mhm.
So anyway,
good guy, good family.
yeah, wonderful family. So I'd like to introduce Evan Clemson, who is the new pastor for the Valley
Bible Fellowship Church.
Bible Fellowship
Yep.
Church. And if you just take a minute to introduce yourself, and then we can have a lovely benediction, that would be really wonderful for us.
Sure, yeah. My name's Evan Clemson. I just moved here about a month ago, as Betsy said, to be the pastor at Valley Bible Fellowship Church. Grew up in central New Jersey, lived there all my childhood and early adult life. I'm married, have 3 young boys, 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and 5-month-old. So they're having lots of fun exploring the area, coming to places like Timor Park. And we're just excited to be here, minister to our congregation at Valley, and also just be a part of this community here in Unionville and all of Dutchess County.
That's great. Well, welcome.
Yep.
Would you like us to sit, or would you rather remain
We
standing?
can stand.
Okay.
I'm going to pray that the Lord would bless our meeting here this morning or this evening. Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather here and to serve this community. I pray that this meeting would be productive, that it would be conducted with wisdom, and that in our dealings here, that we would deal fairly and justly and honorably. I thank you for these councilmen specifically. I thank you for their willingness to serve our community in this way. I pray that you would give them wisdom and that you would encourage them and their families. I pray for our community as a whole. I pray that you would keep our community safe. I pray that you would protect our community. I pray that you would give us unity and a warmth that characterizes the people of Unionville and genuine care each for the other. And I pray for our nation as a whole as we see violence and shootings and many terrible things, it seems almost daily. I pray that you would comfort those families, that you would bring peace and you would bring healing to this country. I pray again that you would bless this meeting, bless this time that we're gathered here this evening. I pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You may escape, or you may stay and join us this evening. It's totally up to you, but thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And it's so nice to meet you. Welcome to Unionville.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in the church. It's a
Appreciate it.
beautiful church.
It is, yes.
Okay, next up, we have approval for the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the minutes from April 19th.
Second?
Second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, terrific. Minutes have been approved. At this point, I'll go right to the supervisor's report. Since our last meeting, we had the orange bag campaign. That weekend after the last meeting, And I wanted to thank the Unionville Fire Department for their, we have a joint effort with them going every year, which is just our third annual, and it was very well attended. This was, I think, the most well attended we had as far as volunteers. We even had Tom Ervalina with his three-wheeled bicycle with the battery in it, who came down all the way from the mountain and was out picking up things on the road along with everybody else. It was wonderful. And as it was just a big group of lovely people. So thank you to the fire department and thank you to all the volunteers who came. We got a lot of orange bags that day. And then since then, and I know that noticed there were some out in front of the church, Evan. I don't know if you had done that, you guys, 6 or 8.
Yeah, by the time I got here, it was too late. We're like, well, let's do it 2 weeks late and hopefully they'll still pick them up.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there was some new garbage for you to pick up.
it happens fast.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great effort. So thanks everybody for that. I wanted to also thank the Duchess Land Conservancy, the president and the people. We had a wonderful meeting with them in this room on Saturday morning. We had 20 people there approximately. And there were about 3 members from each one of our boards and the library trustees, another board. So we had a real good group, the CAC, the planning board, town board, zoning board. And they presented really well. And I just think they did a good job. We all walked out of there thinking, I felt like we all walked out of there thinking we're on the same page with regard to everybody's affection for Unionville and wanting to keep it rural and beautiful, which is nice. So thank you to Becky Thornton and her crew for being with us on Saturday and for everybody who was able to attend. I also want to make sure that we mention before I do a couple of pieces of correspondence. We had big news recently. We're sending out an announcement this week, but Unionville was awarded the bronze certification as a climate smart community, which is a big deal because I think I last read there's 180 towns out of 900 in the state that have achieved this. And there aren't that many in Dutchess, but we're Dover and there are a few, but others are still working on it. But we had a wonderful team. Not only the team was led by Jen Rubo, Andrea Casey was on the team, Jay Cosnell was on the team. I, of course, was helping him out a little bit. And then we had Ed Kading and his group working on culverts. We had George Kolb. Anyway, the night of the work session, I thought it'd be nice to have them in and thank all of them for the hard work. This gives us access to grants, but it also gives us some tips on being more efficient and doing things that are good. So it's big news, and we will send out an announcement. As far as correspondence, the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, Kirk Imperati has written a letter saying that he would be honored if we would please join him and the staff of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office for a brief remembrance, a ceremony in tribute to the Sheriff's Office members that are no longer with us. This ceremony will be held on Thursday, May 25th at 10 a.m. If anybody's available and you would like to go. It's going to be at the Law Enforcement Center on Parker Avenue. It's an opportunity to honor the sacrifices made by all of those in law enforcement, and there's no better way to show our support and appreciation than to come together for moments of reflection and fellowship. So anyway, if people are interested, they ask that you RSVP to Pamela Williams, or you can call the sheriff's office, but it would be a nice thing to thank them for their service. I'm not going to read some of these letters. I just want you to know that because we have a group of letters that our county executive, William O'Neill, has sent off to Congressman Pat Ryan and Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand and Congressman Michael Lawler about the immigrant situation and the fact that he's imploring all of them to please do their job in down in Washington, D.C. at the federal level. So because our county is not really equipped to handle all the immigrants that they were talking about sending here. And he went into some very good reasoning, trying to be kind and understanding that these people are in a self-imposed, but certainly a bad situation, and that the crisis has to be addressed from Washington. I won't read. Anybody that's interested in reading them, you're more than welcome. But he was trying to say that we've got some homeless issues, we've got our own issues, and that we really we never signed up as a sanctuary county. We just can't afford this many people coming in. He also said he had a declaration of emergency standing by, was ready to be imposed should this be needed. Then we get a letter from Brandon Lloyd. He works for the governor. And his email to the supervisors and everybody around the county was, as you were all aware, the expiration of the federal Title 42 order is expected to result in a large increase of individuals seeking asylum arriving in the Hudson Valley. With the speed at which the situation continues to evolve, we know how critical it is that all of you, the leaders of your communities, have your questions answered. We want to assure you that we are here to get you the information you need and are in direct coordination with the experts at the relevant state agencies involved in supporting New York City's management of this humanitarian crisis. Additionally, I want to thank those of you who have reached out to offer additional options for sheltering support. As you may already be aware, you can submit those offers to the state for review and consideration here. Click this link. Again, after you have questions, if any of you have questions or concerns related to this ongoing situation, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time. Thank you, Brandon Lloyd. That's from the Governor Holcomb's office. And then our county executive put out a joint statement with Sheriff Imperati, you know, that they're still urging them to fix it at the federal level. New York City was just awarded $1 billion to take care of it there, that we really aren't equipped for this sort of thing. And, you know, they're standing by should anything develop. But right now, the last thing I heard, there were people in Newburgh. And there were people in, I guess, south of us, but I haven't heard,
Yonkers.
yeah, Yonkers. It must have been Yonkers.
180% there.
Yeah, but I haven't heard of anybody coming to Dutchess at this point yet, but I know they are bypassing, the people that are calling from New York City are bypassing. They're not going to call my office or the town clerk or anybody here. They're not going to call the local governments, and they're not calling the county government to coordinate. They're just going right to hotels and motels. I think the closest one to us would be that small one in Beekman,
Yeah.
which I've been, which I've been told is completely full with county people that are, you know, people that are homeless.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you guys read that they put some bets out because this is more money, and that a bride lost her weekend, her wedding venue, like it's hard to imagine, but I don't know what's gonna happen with those homeless people in, you know, Beekman. I hopefully, yeah, they're paying a lot of money is basically the bottom line. So some people will capitulate, but we'll stay tuned and we'll find out what's going on. 2 Memorial Day remembrances. Or invitations. Arlington High School would like, has invited us to attend their Memorial Day remembrance, which is on Wednesday, May 31st at 6 p.m. at Arlington High School. And they're at the William Sweeney performance. And they're going to have presentation of colors and a keynote speaker who is Ricky Davis, Command Sergeant Major, who's retired. And then there's some awards and musical selections. So that's on that Wednesday, the 31st, and also the Millbrook Memorial VFW would like to invite us to participate in the Memorial Day parade and ceremony scheduled to step off at 11 a.m. on Monday, the 29th. So any of us here at this table, if you want to participate, let me know. They would like us to arrive. You're going to be with the fire company. Well, I was going to do that one next. Yeah, so that's it. If any of you want to go, and if the public wants to go, their parade in Millbrook, which is very nice, and our guys, our fire department's always there. Their starts at 11, and any of you, if you're interested, we have to be there at 10:30. But the Unionville Fire Department has ours at, you want to explain?
9 a.m.
You guys are familiar with it, I hope.
Yeah, Monday the 29th, 9 a.m. on the green in Burbank. By the flagpole.
I mean, as usual. And then
As we have
everybody goes
every
down.
year.
Yep, which is great. Okay, at this point, I'd like to go through the financials with the town board. I emailed you guys what we have. We're back on to having full, having full numbers. I reviewed all of these. I had just gotten these when I sent them to you yesterday.
Okay.
So there's some things in this profit and loss, or the budget versus budget, things that have to be moved around, because I noticed there's some mistakes. For example, when this was updated, for example, there's a truck in here in the parks budget that was not paid for out of his budget. You know, we had already voted on it. So there's some things that have to move. So what you'll find is that I'll bring to you in later meetings, some of the movement that we make to show you it went from this line to that line and why. But I see some mistakes. There's also a couple of things as far as timing. We should probably, it looks like they're behind in the budget, but basically we didn't spread it out the proper way over a 12-month period, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, but we are doing well as far as revenue concerns so far this year. I'm going to get to the cash flow in a second. You guys also got your abstracts of audited claims for general fund. That was emailed, and all the bills that were paid for highway. Did you see that? Well, this is, no, I'm not handing it to you because I'm not gonna do it again. Thank you. There you go. That just shows you yours on the back. From a cash balance perspective, the balances, again, this money hasn't been moved into savings yet, which we'll do tomorrow, but we have, the general fund has, the 1.6 million in the capital fund, and we have 122 in the checking. General savings is 853, all added in, including the ARPA money is 3.9 million. The highway has checking 50,000, 800 in the savings, which is from the tax revenue, and then smaller amounts in the money market accounts. And then we keep our reserve accounts. We're going to be contributing to the highways reserve account again. So the highway fund has 1,057,000 in it. And then, so the total is 5,029,000, which sounds like a lot, but the minute all that money is dispersed and we start paying all the bills, it goes down pretty quickly. From a cash flow perspective, we had 100, we're at 8% above our expected cash flow for the month. We also were 2% above our expenses, but that's because we paid that workers' comp payout, to the county.
Yes.
The one that we pay in the first quarter. So that was sent out. So last month. So, and that's done, but that caused us a little bit to go over on our expenditures that we didn't budget for. And other than that, I can tell you that things are looking strong. Once we've got budget transfers to make to clear at the end of the meeting, which we do to clear out for 2022 that I gave you during the work session. So you've had those for a while. We can review those and that'll come up next. The next thing I wanted to report on and last, because we've kind of touched on the immigrant issue, is that we've myself and Pat Carlemi, the chair of the planning board, Josh Redinger, the chair of the CAC, and Dennis Dunning from the zoning board spent 3 days in Beacon at a land use leadership alliance. They wanted somebody from each one of those boards, and so the 4 of us went. It was 3 Fridays in a row, and I will say, they did a really wonderful job presenting from PACE, the land use that's cool. The people that presented, it was coordinated by the lawyers, legal people from land use, at Pace University, and then they had a lot of other people there presenting all about water and the Fishkill Creek and good land use practices and things a lot of us know. And we felt a little pressure on one day about our dam, which we thought was interesting. They're all for no dams anywhere in the county because the one man said, if you remove your dam, you would have you would have more, you'd have trout again in your Fishkill Creek. And I said, I said, we stock them every year. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he said, I said, we do, we stock them for a lot of reasons, for fishing and for the kids and stuff. And, but I said, look, that we had a process in place. And to that end, we won't cover it at the, we don't need to cover it in old business, but because of all the rain that was going on, remember when the company agreed to come and do the boring test, which is our next step in the process that we've all outlined. They were a no-show last August because they had too many claims on their machine, and they had the one machine that can fit on our dam. They kind of blew us off for 3 months, but they wanted to come in the middle of towards the end of April when it was soaking wet.
Yeah.
We can't afford what it would cost us to bring down that water, pump it out. So they have committed to August again, and they said this year is going to look different from last year. They're not going to be as busy, and so we're going to do it at that's always our most, our least amount of water.
Yeah, it's like
month. So anyway, it's on board, and we're moving along in the process as quickly as we can. All right, so that's all that I have to report. Next up, I would say, Councilman Welsh, why don't we start here with the board member reports?
Okay, basically, I attended the meeting on Saturday, which I think was very good for land conservation. And it was good information. I hope some of the big landowners will get on board. I know we've had 2 locations in the town that have already signed up, and more doing the future.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Thanks for being there. Councilman Derlin?
I see actually what we've been working on is kind of in the agenda, so we'll set it.
Talk about it then. Good. Okay, great. Councilman McGivney?
Days are getting longer, weather's getting nicer. We got a lot of things planned here in Time Warner Park coming up, a lot of events that are great events. So stay tuned to those.
Okay, Councilman Jessica.
I was gonna get in touch with we're gonna talk about the recycling center, but I don't know if you want to wait until
Yeah,
New business?
why don't we
Okay.
do
we
that?
go,
Great,
we'll hit it then.
all right, terrific. Thank you, gentlemen. Town Highway Superintendent report?
A couple of dates that we need to have the town aware of. We're gonna oil and chip Barmore, Clap Hill, the Parks Road and Cutler, starting on May 30th and hopefully complete by June 1st. We're gonna start paving the following week, June 5th through June 8th. Footprint, Burbank Village and Tompkins Road will be done. So that'll get all our major projects done, hopefully by mid-June. Weather permitting.
That's all right.
All right, starting mid-June, we're gonna start focusing on some of the dead and hazardous trees around town. And I've got a couple of contractors that are gonna give us pricing for different tree takedowns. We're mowing roadsides as we speak. The guys have been repairing decapitated guardrails that are falling down. They've been on that past 2 weeks, and I think we got a pretty good handle on that now. All the subdivision roads and all of the intersections have been swept and cleaned off from the winter salt and sanding. And the guys are just doing the day-to-day stuff right now. So kind of busy.
Yeah, always busy. I had given the board members a copy of the letter that George Kolb sent to Al Nabasco about the highway equipment garage. So you guys have that in your package.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention to everybody, save me an email, but so what's going to happen with this written pieces, the one piece that's not in here, because George is covering, which Ed can address in a second, exactly what they're going to get done and repaired on the highway equipment garage. But the one thing that's not on here is the warranty. So when this is all done, there will be a piece of paper that outlines the length of the warranty and what he has to commit to, and he's already offered to sign it. I think it may be a 5-year type of thing, but so we'll talk about that when it comes closer. But Ed, you want to give them an update as far as timing? And I think he's
Waiting for Al to tell me what the schedule is.
okay. What he did mention to me, I
Yeah,
mentioned.
reached out to me at all.
I told you, you're taller than me. But he did call me today. And he did agree that it makes sense to do all the panels. And he said that he is going out of town. He's coming back on Monday to reach out with all the nuts and bolts. He was having a little trouble with the shipment, getting it here because it's so expensive. So he's been working on that. He said he'll call a meeting with all of us if that's okay with you and with Tom Harvey and George by the end of next week, and he'll start the following week.
So I can ask just one thing. So with that warranty, it would be the same warranty that was instituted from the very beginning prior to any of this.
Well, one's for the equipment and for the materials, and one's for his workmanship. The one that we want now going forward is the workmanship.
Yeah.
The other one we have.
I don't know if there was ever a warranty for his workmanship in the past.
Okay. But I'm sure that would have been covered underneath the installation from the company itself, right?
Workmanship?
No,
Yes,
the full
material.
warranty
Yes.
and everything. So
Well,
Well, the company only warranties the materials. Yeah,
if it's properly installed,
correct. But they don't warranty the install.
yeah,
but I think he's making a good point that because it wasn't properly installed, they wouldn't have warranted it.
yeah.
That's what you're saying.
So they would have to sign off on it before we could get their warranty now,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's correct. And
Yeah.
well, that's why they got involved with the plans and all the work they did and approved all Tom Harvey's work and sent it back. And they're gonna send a guy, they want to make sure Mr. Kading is happy, because that's,
It's the town that's the happy.
well, right, but you and George and Tom are overseeing it to make sure, and I think that if they can, if they're sure that those overseers are happy with everything, then they're gonna warranty it. That's what they've said, so we've got Hawkeyes on them then. But anyway, it sounds like it's starting the week after next. And he's insistent that he wants it to be, be good, so we will, we'll take it as it comes. Anything else? You good or is? Good. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Town clerk report.
Thank you. Reminder again, shredding day is scheduled for Wednesday, September 27th. And another reminder, we get a lot of calls on this every year in my office. It is baby animal season. So just be careful. Some animals that are seen without their parents are not orphaned. So check with our animal control officer or a DEC wildlife rehabilitator if you have any questions. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any public comments on agenda items? No, seeing none, let's move on then. Our board and committee reports. So Peter Bonk asked me, the first one up is the Unionville Historical Society, and Peter Bonk asked me if I would just report to you that the Historical Society is back in business. They had a meeting at 6 p.m. and out of the 4 offices, they had a vote for 2. They have a new president and they have a new treasurer. They're going to have a membership drive and invite people in June. Do you remember that date, Andrea? It was June, the second Monday.
Oh,
June
yes,
12th.
June 12th is the date.
So on the second Monday, they will have a follow-up meeting and invite other people to come in. And there apparently are some 4 or 5 or 6 people that are really interested in getting involved in the historical society and what it means to Unionville, which is great. So they've got 2 offices open. Please come to that meeting, and then they'll be announcing a picnic and announcing speakers and, really, and they're going to be working on a project with us, which is great. So anyway, he was very excited and I think he's pleased because he's resigning as treasurer after 30 years. So next up, we have a guest tonight. One of our library trustees, Art Mattiello, is with us. Art, you want to come on up and sit right here? And
Sit in the hot seat, all right.
sit in the hot seat.
Hey, everyone.
He's got something interesting. He's going to walk us through some interesting things. Hey, Art.
So thanks for inviting me. So as you know, we're new at this. The trustees, we meet twice a month, and we had a meeting last night. And part of that meeting was we need a logo. And so I had volunteered to draw a logo and present it to the team. And it actually took longer than I thought and had a lot of input. And I really liked the town of Unionville's logo. So I had wanted to follow that format. So I do a little drawing on the side. So I came up with this one.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
And it didn't really get approved. And so I did another one.
That's because it said library services.
Right. Okay. So this one had library services. Thank you. I kind of forgot what I was doing here. And so I changed it to library. I don't know if you can see that.
Good on the camera. See, it's picking
Oh,
it
there
up.
it is for the
Yeah.
public library. All right. And the theme is we're books. We have the cafe. We have the park, and we have digital access. And then we have the library itself, the building, which is
Very nice.
pretty cool in
Beautiful.
what it looks. And then you have the comments as to, like my son says, their kids don't even know what a computer is, and nobody does CDs anymore. So you start to get all that. And then the town, we had some other suggestions. Why don't you just put the cloud with a keyboard? But then again, how many people really know what a keyboard is when they're 3? I'm sure your kids don't know what keyboards are, right? So we're trying to make it future proof. All right, so
That's not possible.
and exactly, and my son who minored in marketing said, "Why don't you just do what Disney does? At the beginning of their movies, they open up a book, they have a picture, and then they have the princess or whatever, once upon a time." So I came up with this idea, our mission statement, which pretty much says it all of what we're all about.
Can you read it? Do you
it's-
mind reading?
So a place where members of our community can engage in life enriching experiences in the heart of Unionville's Timor Park and have access to resources, programs, and services in a comfortable, welcoming environment which fosters a sense of belonging. Can't get any future proof than that.
That's
Right.
nice.
Okay, but then we got some pushback on the fact that it's too wordy. There's no way you're gonna be able to get embroidery on that and swags and all of this, and it was like, okay. All right, so, you know, I know this is a hobby and frustration started coming in, so I just took this. Took the town, I drew this out, I came here, took a picture, drew it out. That we love the silo, we always have great trees here in Timor Park, and all I wanted to say is, we're a library.
Simple.
We're the Unionville Library. And that got pushed back when I came here for the DLC meeting. Because it's gonna be hard to embroider. So again, this is a hobby of mine, and we were all watching, well, everybody was home for Mother's Day and they all knew that Dad was upset about something. And we were watching the Nike movie and they were talking about their swoosh. So I went upstairs, got my iPad and started drawing, and I drew swooshes. Right? Now you
for the
tell
hat.
me, you can't put that on a shirt. You can't embroider. So we voted. This is the choice. I have better copies. We're gonna do this one for the logo at the library, our seal
On the wall.
on the wall, big like that, big like that. It should not get lost. And then this one was voted in for swag, shirts, hats.
Very clever.
Okay, so who says we can't have two?
Right,
Well, one's for, yeah, you're the hat.
pleasing everybody.
Right, so that's the new,
What a journey you've been on.
yeah, it's, yeah,
Is the voting over?
yes, the voting's over.
Oh, sorry.
Why?
I had something to say.
I don't want to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had voted in this room, would the vote be different?
I mean, my favorite is the first one with the five panels,
Beautiful.
Yeah,
that one. So what we're gonna do is probably have these framed, then maybe auction them off.
Auction them off, right?
Very good idea.
Or, you know, I can do a couple of more and put them in the library when we're finished on the hall as the journey of logo. Encourage
Yeah,
kids to
cool.
become graphic artists and not do it as a hobby. And then what we're doing is, we have a great library trustee team. I mean, the people I work with are just amazing. And, I mean, they all work all day. I'm retired, so I just sit around and think of this stuff, but they work and then they come fresh to do what they have to do to make this library exciting when we get the charter, which we're working on. So we've done our bylaws. We've done our mission statement, we've done our vision statement, but we do run into people that are still against the library. And we thought about having a one pager as to why we're doing the library. Why did the residents vote for it, you know? And when we started itemizing everything, it was more than a one pager. And I said to Amy, our president, I said, there's no way we're going to put all this on a 5x7 card and hand them out. So I came up with the idea of a flyer. We can leave them. I don't know if I made enough, but these are just prototypes. They're not to be handed out. They're just for you to see if you want to just look at them. They're just some comments as to what we're doing, where we've been, who we are. There's some typos because
Yeah, a draft.
and Amy and the team are wordsmithing it and finalizing. But it's to leave them, you know, maybe here at the town hall, or if we go to functions, you know, you hand them out. And it explains who we are, why we're doing this, and what it's all about.
That's great. And this made it.
Yes, and since I'm the author, I put it in
You
there.
get to put that in. That's
Put
great.
that in there. The website will have to change because we used, the QR is from an older website, but
Yeah.
we talked about building our own website
Yeah,
and things like that.
yeah. And once the fundraising is finished and completed, then that Friends of the Library, you know, that separate fundraiser for
Right.
small operating cost type stuff can kick in. And then, you know, in addition to your website, you might have a Facebook page.
Right. We made a motion yesterday and was approved that Mike McPartlin will be the head of that 5013C, for the
Right.
Friends of the Library, which will cover our operating costs and any shortfalls that we have.
Well, we'll
Right.
cover your operating costs.
No, because
It's gonna add to it.
It's gonna add to
Budget,
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, whatever
There
we
could be some
need.
Fund. Some
Right,
really
and
nice.
Mike's geared up with that, and I think he's gonna see you because you have the
Unionville Library Fund.
Unionville Library Fund,
For
which is a
fundraising.
separate entity.
Right.
And all these libraries, they'll end up with two. They start out with the construction or the capital one, and then that'll close down at some point, and then the ongoing is the Friends Up. I mean, people.
Right.
You need that. You
Right,
have
so
that-
that's gonna
That swag
start
you're talking about, it's gotta go on something.
Right, right.
That's great.
Sure.
Art. Well,
All right,
thank
well,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, that's
It's
outstanding.
been a journey,
Yeah.
and I know we didn't even start yet.
It's just getting started. You're still getting that chartering. That's tricky business, isn't it?
Yes,
It's harder than it sounds. Yeah.
that's a tricky one.
Well, good luck with
All
that.
right,
Thanks,
Keep us
Roy.
posted.
thank you.
All right, take care. All right, the Conservation Advisory Council, Josh Redinger had a very important work meeting tonight, the chair, he is not here, but he just wanted everybody to know that he chaired, was at the Land Use Leadership Alliance and got a lot out of that meeting. And when we've identified, I think that during the town, when we were redoing the zoning for the TC, we talked about certain things that were missing from the code, and the CAC is in gear up to help us with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so our department, our commissions and councils are all working hard. As far as departmental reports, would anybody like to read parks? Because Jake is not here tonight, he's been working
Yeah, I'll
hard.
read parts. Okay, I just received word from Shelley at Memphis Schools that our filter tank should ship at the beginning of next week, which is great to hear. Next, we broke ground this week on the composting toilet project at the Equestrian Center. We have hit a lot more shale than we were expecting, but we are hoping to have the footing poured and everything ready to start framing it for this coming Monday. The crew is full summer prep swing, getting things ready for the pool to open. Keeping up the soccer fields, keeping the trails in great shape for those that run, bike, or hike, and mowing the grass to keep things looking great. As always, I would like to give a shout out to my entire staff in the Parks and Rec Department for always stepping up and doing a great job.
And I wanted to add, he forgot a bullet point, we had the air conditioning completed in the room. Dennis was here and finished it,
Oh, wonderful.
unless you're so whenever you're
Bring on the
ready.
heat.
Yeah, we need heat tonight. So that was done as well, which is great. All right, next up, recreation. Who'd like to,
I'll get it.
thank you, Councilman.
Recreation, we had a full house for our paint and sip event at the end of April. Participants enjoyed an evening of fun with friends and family and walked away with beautiful works of art. Registration is open online for our next paint and sip event on June 16th. Registration is open on our website for our next TGTT full and half days for the end of the school year. Students K through 5 can join us at Timor Park and enjoy their time off playing games, participating in themed events, and hiking our vast trails. Family and friends can enjoy an evening of jazz at our Music in the Park event on June 2nd with performances by 3 Arlington High School jazz ensembles. Patrons are welcome to bring chairs, blankets, and refreshments. Performances will be from 6 o'clock to 7:30 at the band shell in Timor Park, and food vendors will be available to purchase snacks and drinks starting at 5:30. Community night will be held on June 23rd from 5 p.m. to 9:30. Residents can come enjoy tailgating outside Town Hall, meet staff members from every town department, purchase snacks from various food trucks, and end the night with a fireworks show. Come early to get a good parking spot. Our staff is preparing for our summer camp programs and are looking forward to the beginning of the summer season.
Excellent, thank you. Next up, Constable's report. Anybody want to take that one?
Thank you.
Councilman, thank you.
Below the constable monthly report for April 2023. Constables patrolled approximately 588 miles of town roads, including all properties, filled the Explorer with 12.0 gallons of gasoline. 3 town court dates, total of 17 cases on the dockets with 4 actual appearances. 3 cases pled by mail. There were no issues to report. Constables reported the following during patrols. April 7th, vehicle parked outside soccer field gate, left on request. April 7th, vehicle parked on Town Hall, left on a request, maybe the same vehicle. 423, vehicle parked outside Equestrian Center gate, left on request. Respectfully submitted, George Treadwell.
Excellent, thank you. All right, there's an animal control officer report. I don't happen to have it, but I
have
left it out there. Sure, you're volunteering, thank
Okay,
you.
Mary Jean Calvi dated Wednesday, May 17th. Animal control report for the month of April 2023. During the month of April, there were 2 found dogs with 3 wildlife calls Please be aware that wildlife is a part of what makes our town beautiful as it is. We share our properties with raccoons, foxes, beavers, skunks, bobcats, deer, bears, and occasional moose, all of which have been residents of Unionville and the surrounding area for decades, if not longer. Unless we know that wildlife is aggressive, sick, or injured, we try to respect each other's habitat, especially during spring when young are being born and raised. When wildlife does pose an imminent danger or threat to human life or is in need of specialized care, the jurisdiction of the DEC takes over the situation as they are better equipped with specialized training and personnel. In the meantime, please be cautious when outside, especially during the evening, early morning hours when wildlife is more active. Make sure to provide supervision with small pets or young children are outside as well. Reflects respectfully submitted, Mary Jean Calvi, Animal Control Officer.
Right, thank you. Interesting. We had lost a couple of birds and I have a friend over there who takes care of the babies. Fell right out of the nest, those little starlings.
Oh,
I mean, they just, yeah, I don't know if the mother is a poor engineer. I wonder like, why, how do these kids just, the two of them fell out and my friend over there, the town clerk is babysitting both of them, but she has to feed them every 20 minutes. Isn't that something? So we're so glad they found a good adopted
are
mother.
they doing well?
They're all alive and well, yes.
And they're in town in her office every day, so we get to visit.
Also surviving.
Yeah, they're really cute. Okay, next up is old business. And we're gonna zip through this because these are all updates. Dealing with junk, rubbish and debris. Now, that's a vast subject, it seems like. Our attorney, Jeff Battistoni, has made some comments that are very helpful. George Kolb has been really busy and feels like he hasn't completely reviewed it well enough to know that it's gonna be everything we want and then finish. So we don't have anything to review yet, but it's coming. It is important. But we got to get it right. As far as guidelines for short-term rentals, we're going to get that out to you next week. And that will be the resolution of introduction. We're going to make some changes to a resolution. I was also waiting, Steve Schmoke, our chief at the fire department, is looking it over. I sent it to him to see if he had any more comments about things to do with the fire safety aspect of it. Now, our short-term rental suggestion here is to have a record of those that have short-term rentals. And every now and then things come up, like, we were talking today about the, the immigrants coming in from the city. And one of the things people were worried about was that they would be calling anybody on Airbnb as well, because we don't have any hotels here. Jeff Battistoni reminded me that actually wouldn't come under short-term rentals because, well, unless my information is wrong, what I'd heard was the city was trying to put people up for 4 months. And then I don't know if that's true or if they're coming back or we don't know, but I read that in one article that they were looking for 4 months. And I know at one point the county asked us, well, pull together your list of all your names in case you need to communicate with them. So I think one of the byproducts of having something like this is, even though it's very hands-off and they're doing their own self-inspections about fire and littering and stuff, is that we could run a report, have the list, and if we had to communicate something to them from,
Immediately contact.
yeah, we could. So anyway, that will be going out to you next week. I'm going to factor in any comments that Steve might have. Chief Schmoke is Steve I'm talking about, and then our attorney and I are going to work on the resolution a little bit, and then we'll have an interesting public hearing and hear what people think. Okay. The expanding residency requirements for that's like changing one line. So that's going to come. We thought we'd keep these two together and send it out to you next week. We're not in a hurry. So that's forthcoming. Furnace Pond Dam, I mentioned it earlier. We have an appointment in August for the next step of our process. The playground in Godfrey Park. I think we need to start working, since it's already May. I think we could probably schedule the demolition. We don't want to do it too early, depriving anybody of anything.
Yes.
So I'm going to check in with Rob and try to see if he can help us out with the date. He's still non-committal. It might not show up until September. So we may be demolishing this thing in August. But as soon as he can pinpoint it, he said, I'll just give you a few weeks in advance to take it down. So that's going to be forthcoming, and that'll be Our Parks Department, all the residents are not gonna help with this. They're gonna help with the bill.
Oh, not with the demolition.
They might be around and help, but it's really gonna be done a little more professional. We have, Willie Murphy from the Iron Furnace is gonna help, Ed Kading is gonna help, and any of his staff that's free, and the Parks Department. So we'll have more or less professionals that will do it, and then, and, you know, we'll have some guidance from the fellow who's gonna be doing the install.
Yes.
So we'll all keep you posted as far as those dates and get it scheduled as close as we can to when necessary. As far as the improper foreclosure of the property by Dutchess County, that was the 60 acres in Unionvale plus the 22 in Beekman, but we're concerned about the 60 in Unionvale. All I can tell you is to remind you that in our view, the county did not follow their own procedures. They did not give us notification of something that they went and auctioned off without telling us. So we're seeking a determination by a judge as to whether or not they're not following their own policy is right or wrong. So what's happened so far is everybody submitted their motions to the court, and Dutchess County has asked that it be dismissed. And they're asking that it be dismissed based on the fact that there's a statute of limitations. So I think it's interesting, when did that begin? Like, when did the clock start ticking? And there's a viewpoint that you read, I'm sure, about. It starts when the county committed the last act, which was to give the deed to the other person. So therefore, you know, then there was nothing else administratively that could be done once that happened. And the county says, oh, no, it happened way back in November, back when it was auctioned. So there's the legal viewpoint and there's what the judge says. So we'll have to wait. So that's where that stands. It's just, they want to dismiss, and we have to wait and see if the judge agrees with them or not. And then that'll be that. Now, tomorrow morning at 9:30, we have the Department of Aging is going to be here. And it was really important that people come because, first of all, they're going to be talking about friendly calls, which are important because, and the friendly call, apparently it's an 8-week where somebody calls somebody same time every once a week for 8 weeks. And they try to pair people up that have similar interests and stuff. So it's good for the caller and it's good for the callee. Like it's been very popular. And then they've got a lot of other programs they want to tell us about now that we're getting more involved with scheduling for our seniors, but we need people to come. If anybody's listening to this, please think about coming at 9:30 and hearing what they have to offer. Our staff will be here. We hope some guests will be here. Some of the seniors are coming from the senior club. And Sue Serino and Brian Jones are going to be here, which are great advocates. She's always been a great advocate for the seniors, but they'll both be here, you know, very excited to talk to whoever will listen. So if you know anybody that would benefit or that you want to participate, please come. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, it should be an hour and a half. And that's it for old business. New business. So what I think, let's go quickly. I sent all of you a memo.
Yeah.
And I want to just make sure you got that so that you can read that, what the plans are. This is, I was trying to commit to writing what we've been talking about as we were rezoning the town center zone. So first up is what Councilman Derlin was referring to. It's on our new business, completing overlays and open space plan as recommended in the master plan. So Councilman, I think where we are with this is we discovered during that other process that you were on the working group, that there are things in our master plan that were never done. And I'm not sure that they're mentioned in the code and in the master plan, and they were never fully adopted by the town board. So how many do we have? I think we're up to five.
Oh, excuse me. Well, there's 7 too. That's it. There's the 2 that are separate from the town code, and then there's the other 5. All important for planning purposes, right?
So for the record, just for people that are listening to this, you mind reading just the
Sure.
subject matter for the first 5? This is what we have to get done.
All right, so this has to get done. The open space plan, which is in coordination with the town board, the planning board, the CAC, and then NAN. Then we have the environmental resource overlay, which was completed in 2022, but not adopted. And then the CAC did that, right?
Yes.
Well, you remember Nate, the fellow that worked with us on a lot of climate smart, he
yeah.
pulled a lot of it together with the
Yes.
CAC. So,
Yes, yeah.
but we're going to vote on them together. I guess that's why it
Yep.
didn't come through. Remember?
Then we have the scenic corridor overlay district, and that's along the roads that are designated as scenic. Then we also have the flood fringe overlay, and then the list of historical sites and resources for preservation. And those are the five.
Yeah, and that's great. The Historical Society is there's some people that are joining that really want to work on this project.
You want to talk about the other two?
But yeah, so the thing with the other two is, exploring the creation of acquisition of development rights, a program that would allow us to get involved for the sake of open space, which was listed on page 11 of the master plan. And we should research these things, and then we should know what our choices are. Should something come up that we think, that it's important. There could be any scenario, but I think what was interesting and what I think we've learned from some of the planning board applications is we really do not have a complete map of all the easements that the town controls. So Councilman Derlin and I are going to work on this project together. We're going to, a lot of other, like CAC is doing a lot of the top 5. The town board has to adopt all of this, so we have to be involved. So Councilman Derlin and I are working on getting the easements pulled together with the town controls, because they need to be mapped. So every time somebody comes into the planning board, people know where the easements are. So we need to get that mapped. And then protecting groundwater and forest resources. That's just, everybody here loves the beauty of Unionville. That's kind of a public education project. There's some other, I think what our idea is, we're gonna get volunteers to kind of, people that know stuff like this, all about estuaries and how you take care of your riparian buffers and all that stuff that you used to talk about on the planning board, and educate the public as to what they can do. So that's kind of a neat, we'll find somebody good to do
We
that.
have a lot of that in our park master plan,
Yes,
a lot of detailed stuff.
there's some good stuff in there, and there's good stuff in this master plan that really encompasses what. So if we get those things done, Kevin and I can oversee and kind of coordinate with the folks. We can get this done. Then the idea would be, and Nan recommended this, and I know other people have, that we amend. First, we individually adopt each one, and then we use them as amendments to the master plan. So then it makes the master plan even more well developed.
Good.
Okay, the easements might take a while, because Brad Kendall said it was going to be a really hard thing. We'll find somebody
Couple
else.
ideas, but it'll still be.
Yeah, you already have some ideas, which is great. Might make it shorter. So that's wonderful. So we'll get working with the other groups, see what the CAC's plan as far as the timing is, and we'll
Park
report
also
back.
have easements though for drainage, for culverts and things like that.
Yeah. But what's interesting is you look on a map, like if you look at parcel access, this came up when Chairman Cardellemi and I were working. Sometimes we had to do some things just in front of a computer in here. Even over there off of Brookside and that area, there's a huge swath of land
Right.
on the parcel
Yeah.
like this, and nobody knows who's. We've got 2 tax bills that get returned. They go to a homeowners association that's either defunct, which they're not supposed to be. Yeah, so the tax bills have come back. So we have issues not knowing, these you need to know who they are and who's in charge of them. And they were filed at the state attorney general's office, so we should be able to find that part. But,
Yeah.
if somebody comes in and wants, Ed had a situation with the planning board where there's a road that we weren't sure that there may have been an easement needed for snow removal. So we didn't know if there was one there. We can't find, was there one there, from the 1970s? Do we need that one? So anyway, we need to,
Sure.
and Kevin has some really good ideas on how it might not be as tedious as I was thinking it might be. So that'll help. And then we can show everybody, and that'll help everybody in their work,
So,
Okay, so next up, thank you for that. I think that's gonna be really interesting. Recycling center.
All right, so just about a month and a half ago, we visited the Kent Recycling Center, and through a conversation, we have a lot of missed opportunities in our center, but not lost opportunities. So there's so many things that would be able to reorganize our center itself, which is unique in its own way, because LaGrange and Beekman don't have anything like that. So I think we just have a lost, at this moment, opportunity that would be beneficial for our town. So it would take a little bit of budgeting to figure out exactly where we would have to be, what we would have to spend to get it up to speed. But eventually, I think it would be a win-win for all of us. So that's something that we're going to start to explore.
So we're gonna, yeah, one thing I will tell you is that's imminent is we're gonna be taking on the cans and bottles. Soon, we have to order the containers to put them in. We need better signage there because people are still putting things in the wrong place.
Mhm.
We have to make decisions about cardboard. Do we ever want to bale the stuff again, which we have a machine and we can do that. But you know,
There's a lot.
there's a lot we can do, but I think that once we run all the numbers and say, well, if we design it like this and it costs X, we'll figure out. And then we'll present that and we'll go with it. But the cans and bottles, we're gonna have to take over soon. So that's just a matter of showing people where to place them. But anyway, I think it's gonna be really exciting because
Yeah.
people love that place.
Mhm.
They just love it. It's like their cult following, but.
Well, it's celebrity run, so
Is that-
that's
That's-
what attracts them.
That's what. And we don't lose money there. I mean, now we make money there. It may be a little bit of money, but we can pour it, we can, yeah, we can invest it in something and make it better.
Yep.
Anyway, Mary Ann DeLeese is dying to have a thrift shop there, so you never know what will come out.
Yeah.
You guys will all hear about it and then we'll figure out if it works,
Sure.
okay? What's next up? Oh, the MS4, I just wanted to let everybody know that the MS4 is that, you know, how that's
Oh, yeah, the headache. State
the
headache.
municipal separate storm sewer system, and we'll have the annual report will be voted on and approved, presumably approved in June.
Okay.
So I wanted to give everybody a heads up if they want to read it, but it'll be on the website and that's coming. And this is a project that we can work on. We've worked on this before.
Yeah.
I got the data from the census on the urbanized numbers.
Oh.
So maybe next week, Councilman, we can sit down and go through.
Yes.
We were reviewing, we're in MS4. And we have two corners. We have a little bit on the Beekman side, a little bit on the LaGrange side, which is the density, it's based on density
Yeah.
and sorry, I didn't say that, but it's based on, and those two little pieces brought the whole town of Unionville in. And even since I've been here I go to those meetings maybe twice a year. George goes faithfully every month. He's our representative and he votes for us. I go twice a year and learn more and more, but they are getting ready to change this permit to become so onerous and unbelievably expensive that some of the bigger towns think that they now have to hire a completely separate person just to track and report on MS4 activities. One of the things they want us to do, which I haven't even told Ed yet, they want us, the town, they're not going to give us any help with this. They want us to map every single culvert and they want it. Now we have a list of them because Ed and his guys have been fixing them. They want to know exactly which direction they turn. They want us literally to draw the entire culvert skeleton system, wherever it is in the town, us to do that. That's just one minor thing that this new permit, now they pushed out this permit, it hasn't become approved yet, but everybody's unbelievably upset about it because it's such an unfunded mandate and like some people do. Feel like they have to have a part time. It's
At the
unbelievable.
end of the day, too.
Stuff that MS4 forces us to do is in our town code. So George is already doing it. He works with contractors to make sure we have a lot of rules. Ed's and his guys clean up in a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's in your code. So I don't know why, if we put it all in our code, why do we have to
Yeah. So
spend all this money to report to them and get audited, the engineering fees on this to try to get us out. The only way we could get out, and they could give us a partial, is by showing them that the urbanized zones and that density isn't what it used to be. So we finally got the new data and maybe, we're gonna submit a waiver request. And still follow the rules. We believe in the rules. It's just we don't want to have to pay the state and all these people.
Yeah,
The
we're
rules are
still in
fine.
practice of what they want us to do,
Yeah,
but it's the documentation and reporting that's so overwhelming.
yeah, expensive.
Yeah,
And it's gonna get worse. And I don't know what.
and it certainly is a turnoff. Code enforcement officer.
George is good at it.
Yeah.
Now, we have a new proposal we want to talk to the councilman about. That has to do with the party that we're having. We're having a party. The town is sponsoring a party based on popular request because we have a celebration budget line. And it's to honor Al Posel and Jane Geisler, our two centenarians. And it's June 10th because Jane Geisler's family, that's because they're going to go back, they're going to take her back up to Cape Cod for the summer. So anyway, they asked that, Kevin, can I see one of those? You mind handing it down? I just remember. So this is from 3 to 5 on Saturday, June 10th, which is what's going on June 10th.
That's the town, our company's car show.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay.
I'm
So,
not sure, maybe it is too. I thought it was.
but you'll be cleaning up until 3.
Yeah,
So when the town clerk and I worked on the dates for the party, we came up with the time slot of 3 to 5, right? So it would avoid the fire departments.
wouldn't be a conflict.
Yeah, then everybody could come over and have cake and salute Jane Geisler and
Wow.
post it.
They should
So-
start at that. You put them in old.
Oh, yeah. With the cars.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Riding styles.
Yeah, take some good pictures. But anyway, we thought after discussing this with some of the staff and the families of these individuals and friends of theirs, because these two people are very well loved in the town of Unionville. We thought it might be nice if we could formally, since we have this elevate budget, we could have a little bit of money, well, centenarian party, and we only know 2, we're gonna put word out, we might end up with more. Andrea is convinced that a couple of years will be totally dry, so we're not gonna waste too much money on cake, but some years we might have 3 or 4, so it'd be fun, but it'd be nice for these people,
well, it's a healthy town. We'll probably have more prospects down the road.
only if they're in your family.
Yeah.
Andrea
Nice
thinks
idea.
you're gonna be caring for her, so.
Nice idea.
So, can we have a motion? I'll make a motion that we have an annual centenarian party for anybody that reaches 100 that year. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. That's it.
Abstain because you know, we know you're gonna do that.
You're gonna have that party. That's what I was laughing. I didn't want to say.
You're welcome.
Now, when your father passed away, how old was he?
104.
104. Yeah. So John's voting for his own party. We'll go back to this. Our attorney can advise us about this vote later.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay, resolutions and motions. We don't have any tonight. We have one additional motion. Well, 2, yes, you're right. One, I wanted to mention this. This is this is really excellent. So we have in our budget this year, I think it's $12,000 for new computers and getting the recreation people up on the servers. They're on their own, they're on an island down there. They're not connected to the town servers, which is no good for summer camp registrations, which are full. But we want to get them up on the servers and we want to have proper backup because our servers are offsite and all that. We have kind of a double system and cybersecurity and all that makes sense. And their computers are dying. On top of everything else, their computers are dying. So what we have ordered for them is they want laptops because they come up here for meetings a lot and everybody can work on their laptop during the meeting. But then down in their offices, they'll plug it in to the big monitor. They're not just going to use a laptop all day. So we ordered that, and then we went back to Logically and said, and Logically hasn't been the quickest. I'll be honest with you, but that's okay. Asked them if there was any pricing or anything. Well, guess what? Logically went back and checked, and there were some what do they call credits? They weren't credits, but some sort of a rebate. Sorry, it's a rebate that was being offered by Dell. So they went ahead and took advantage of the rebate before they were over 800. But anyway, for 2 computers with 2 monitors, it's $2,310. And these are not your ordinary. He said, tell the board, because he said you can buy a cheaper computer off of Amazon, but these have to have lots of things in it for town security that you can't get on Amazon. And we're going to we'll either buy it in there from Dell Direct, or we have to install it when we come over to hook your computers up. So that's why they're a little bit. And these guys need their computers. So I wanted to put this order in right away because now they're telling me time is of the essence. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Thank you.
For the amount that was stated in the.
Excellent.
In the quote.
231046. Excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any other? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, now the last point of business, we'll have this to give out. Yes.
Is this gonna clean up 22
This finalizes 22.
Good, okay, good.
Now, these are the ones we spoke about. I passed them out to you at the work session.
Yeah.
And we looked at basically what happens with this. And you have a new one in here, same one,
Yeah.
nothing changed. But basically what we did was we went through this form. You can look at this if you're. I gave this to you before, I know, you already looked at it, but this is mine. This is what I do when I get it. I review all the numbers and say, okay, let me go back and look at why that one looks like this and why that one looks like that. And so you always find things end up in the wrong bucket or there's a mistake or whatever. So with our engineers and our attorneys, so this is a perfect one. So we were over on the attorney and way under on the engineer. So we use them both as consultants. So we just move one from the other and we're still under budget for the year for the two.
Good.
So that's what we do every year. We see which one we spend more money with and we slide it back and forth. So that's what this is. You see on the board meeting you see the municipal court. They actually had, they were a little bit, we took money from their labor costs because we over budgeted a little bit. Maybe the clerk didn't work as many hours or whatever. We took money from the labor cost and we moved it over into their court costs because they overspent there. So that was 1846. All right, and then the parks, the CE, we moved over into EQ, which is equipment to cover all of their costs. And all of these are things that we all approve throughout the year, but we don't always move it from one line to the other until the end. So those are the kind, one of them is, for example, unassigned fund balance, unclassified revenue and unallocated insurance. We got $633 back from our insurance company, so that shows. All right. So all the rest of them, I know we reviewed at the work session, but it's really going from equipment. Sometimes it's going from, now a couple of them, here's one. This contingent account with the landfill, they
Mhm.
billed us twice in 1 year. And I, but I wish they hadn't done that, but the fact of the matter is it wasn't in the budget and they sent their bills out way late and it hit in the year and we had to pay them in that year. They hadn't budgeted it before. As a matter of fact, I thought they had already done it. But then we got the bill and so we ended up paying $25.45 over. So we had to move it from our contingent account. We used the contingent account because we hadn't spent any money from it. And so we moved it over to cover the double billing on the landfill. And we moved it over. There was $140 in equipment for the constables that we moved from the contingent account. You know what? He went out and bought extra cones for the holiday lights. So that was $140. We moved it from the
Good.
contingent account. And then the 2103, which is constables, that's their equity, that's their labor cost.
Mhm.
That was the extra that it cost for the balloon festival.
Oh,
But the balloon festival pays us for that. It just went into the revenue for facility rentals.
okay,
So rather, you see,
Yes.
so the money went in there because we charged them this and then I have to move it over to make all the lines look.
sure.
Okay, so that's what all this is. And then on the back, it shows all the transfers we're gonna make tomorrow from one bank to the other, like we take the, we always move money into the health account, but we also move money from general savings to the New York class, so we get a higher rate of interest. So those are all listed on the back and I'm gonna do those tomorrow. Okay,
Very good. Mhm.
so I know we went over it before, those are the ones,
Yeah.
same thing, nothing has
Nothing-
changed.
Yeah.
But this clears us up and this is what we had given to our accountant. And the
Did I get- yeah.
Ted and the AUD has been done. He's working on the cash accounts for the courts and all the other department, town clerk and collect tax collector and everybody else. Okay? All right. So does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
All right, we have a motion that we pass the budget transfers for the May meeting. Okay,
Second.
there's a second. All right, all in any discussion about that? Everybody understands? Okay. All in favor of the budget transfers?
Aye.
Say aye. This will be the final. All right, any opposed? None? Great. Okay, that motion carries. Those will all get finalized tomorrow in the books and like I
Close
said,
the books on 22.
22, Ted Eglett was happy. He'll write his report and give it to us. And
Good.
yeah, we had a good year, as everybody knows. We already went through those numbers. We look really strong in every department, except the court. We're working on them.
Mhm.
So it's not all their fault, though. The state takes them.
Sure.
All right, that's all I have as far as motions and resolutions will be next month. Are there any public comments on town issues? Yes, would you like to come up so you can be heard on the microphone?
We have a bear family on 22 road,
Oh,
300 pound at least is male. And their mama and her cub showed up on Sunday afternoon. They are out at night, they're out in the jail.
wow.
They cross Full Valley Road, they cross Roseville Road. They're on Shaughnessy, but they're also on the front. I want people to be careful when they're driving, that you can spread the word. Andrea and Mary Jean do not have to take care of these critters if everybody's careful.
Right, that's a good message.
Yeah, good advice.
Do you think the microphone picked that up?
How big is your big one?
Well, yeah, I don't think I can fit a bear, but yes. Thank you, Alfreda. Yeah, I agree. Everyone should just be careful so that, the world is a safer place for everybody.
Bear on Ackley too. Oh, yeah,
My garbage got hit twice in the past 2 weeks.
I got hit. I was looking at it.
really? Based on the
At least two.
Take some
at least two
pictures.
at my house.
Get any pictures?
They took off and came back to go.
It's so fun.
I found like a little trail of one bag and 10 other bags, really.
Yeah, no, it's a good message. Thank you.
I mean, I walked in the woods.
Good
And I
message.
saw where they ran.
Okay, I think that's all that we have then. Thank you for that comment. If there are none to follow, I think we could have a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The last message of the night is sign those vouchers, please. We can pay the bills tomorrow. All right.
Where,